The Harry Potter films are full of pausable moments. They're filled with so many small details, large details, and incredible special effects and editing. I went through each film frame by frame, and I actually picked 50 pausable moments, but I narrowed that down to 10, and in this video, I'm going to rank those top 10. I tried to pick things that happened so quickly you could miss it, some funny details, and some things that just deserve to be highlighted and looked at more closely. So without further ado, let's get into it. In the opening scene of the Chamber of Secrets, there's a wonderful close-up of Harry's eyes, and if you pause it right here, you notice the incredibly well-placed reflection of the picture he's looking at, which happens to be the only picture of himself and his parents together. By highlighting the emotion in Harry's eyes, as well as showing us what's making him emotional, it makes for probably my favorite shot in the entire second film. The Seven Potters scene broke new grounds with special effects, and once the roundabout shot stops, you have to pause it. Daniel Radcliffe did an amazing acting job here. Just looking closely, he embodied the mannerisms and expressions of each actor perfectly. He had Fred and George's humorous smile, Mundungus's disgust, Fleur's apprehension, Ron's shock, and Hermione's nervousness. It's a moment that has to be paused and looked at longer than the movie showed it.
We're identical.
This next one just cracks me up every time I see it. If you pause right before Ron's knight gets hit, it isn't Rupert Grint. Instead, you see a grown man in Rupert's place. It cracks me up because they might have been able to get away with this in the later films when Rupert was actually that age. But this is the very first movie. This is a grown man playing an 11-year-old. It's also so obvious. They could have at least tried to hide it better or maybe use some CGI. Although Chris Columbus himself said that the CGI wasn't the best in this movie and the technology might not have been there yet. But I'm almost glad for that because it just really makes for a hilarious moment if you pause it at the right time. There are a lot of cool newspaper shots in these movies, all of which have a ton of detail and hidden Easter eggs, but I think the most pausable example of this was the newspaper cutout of the Weasleys in Egypt. This is the only time in the movie series where we see the entire Weasley family together, meaning all 9 members. This is also the only time Charlie Weasley ever makes an appearance in the series, though he was mentioned a few times.
My brother Charlie works with these in Romania.
Ron was here.
Oh, sure. Brother Charlie had to bring him over from Romania.
But this is just a really great snapshot, and though it's not the same bill we got in the Deathly Hallows, it's still a nice image to have. I've been going over moments that fans and viewers might pause, but let's look at one that the filmmakers felt was worthy of pausing. I'm of course talking about the last shot in The Prisoner of Azkaban. This is a technique used in many movies, most notably Rocky, which is actually my favorite movie of all time. But this is the only example of this in the entire Harry Potter series, so I felt I had to add the moment the filmmakers themselves felt was worth pausing. Also, I love how they added the streaks coming off of Harry's face to show how fast the firebolt was. It's a small detail, but one that makes a lot of difference. The scene where Sirius shows Harry the picture of the original Order of the Phoenix is one that definitely deserves a longer look than the film gave us. There's just so much to point out when you pause it. Going from right to left, the 2 men you see on the end are actually Fabian and Gideon Pruitt, Molly Weasley's brothers, both of whom died fighting for the Order. And next to them with the 1970s hairstyle is Lupin, which is actually very accurate because in the book's canon, this picture was either taken in 1978 or 1979. Seeing James and Lily in the films is always a treat, and I've always admired how they kept the same actors throughout all 8 films, which is wild because that encompasses 10 years. Also, the way Pettigrew stands behind them sort of foreshadows the future of him stabbing them in the back. And there's so much more to point out, like the younger Dumbledore, Hagrid of course, Elphias Doge, Dumbledore's oldest friend, Alice and Frank Longbottom before their attack, a shorter man who I always assumed was Mundungus, and so on. Maybe I'll make a video on it one day that fully breaks it down. But it's clear that this is a moment that deserves to be paused and looked at more closely. This next one is a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it really tells us a lot about Severus Snape's character. While Harry's in Snape's mind, there's a small moment that has to be paused and examined, and it depicts a young Severus Snape curled up in a ball sitting on the floor crying. This is the filmmakers brilliantly taking a line from the books and creating it visually. In the Deathly Hallows, we were told that Snape's parents fought constantly, and it was even implied that his father might abuse his mother. So this little clip that we paused on is most likely Snape sitting there helplessly while his parents argued, and possibly even while his muggle father beat his witch mother. I'm glad I get to highlight this because I feel like the average viewer wouldn't even notice this scene. Honestly, the only reason I really noticed it is because I work so closely with the films and editing system, so I go through it frame by frame. But this is a shot I've used in several videos on the Movie Flame channel to great effect, especially my Severus Snape's origin video. A lot of people have a problem with Voldemort's death in the film, myself included. In the book, he fell to the floor with a natural and average human death, which was very symbolic as he spent his life seeking to be more than just an average human, meaning he failed. However, though I was disappointed they took that symbolic meaning away and actually did the opposite by giving him an unnatural death, meaning he completed his goal in life, this scene in the movie is absolutely beautiful. If you pause it on his face as he starts to fall apart, you can see how much detail the animators and filmmakers put into this scene, and it's a moment that deserves to have a closer look. It's so good that the MCU tried to copy it. The Marauders map in itself houses a lot of cool details that all deserve to be paused, but there is one specific moment I chose for this video, and that was when we see Newt Scamander himself walking through the castle. This was just a fun little Easter egg the filmmakers threw in, and at the time they were thinking, oh, let's add that one guy who wrote that one book. But now with the Fantastic Beasts films, it turns into a much more meaningful moment, so obviously fans of the prequel films will be keen to pause it here and see good old Newt walking through the same corridors that Harry walks through. And finally, what I think is the most pausable moment in the Harry Potter series. It obviously has to do with my favorite character, Lord Voldemort. Like the shot of Snape, it's a blink and you'll miss it moment. When Harry touches the ring in the Half-Blood Prince, which is right after the reveal of Voldemort's Horcruxes, if you pause it right here, you can actually see Voldemort making a Horcrux. It's obviously a mystery on how you make one. Some fans have theorized that you have to become a cannibal to do so, which I don't know if I believe. But this shot right here that we paused on is the only official look we have of making a Horcrux, which I think is really cool and is really noteworthy. Just seeing the way Tom is possessed in this shot is chilling beyond belief. Christian Coulson will always be my favorite Tom Riddle, but Frank Delane really impressed me here in this shot. It's so crazy to think how much went into filming this scene. The acting, the camera looking down on him, the set he's on, there's just so much detail, and all for it to only be on screen for a single second. Again, I'm glad I get to highlight this shot and really give Delane and the filmmakers credit for a shot that most fans probably missed or didn't even give a second thought because it had so little screen time. And there you have it, the top 10 most paused moments in the Harry Potter series. Let me know in the comments below what your ranking is, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can follow me on Instagram to see more of my personal life, like my cute dog Loki, and some behind the scenes movie flame stuff. I also do similar content on TikTok and Twitter that I do here on this channel, so if you like what I do here, check them out. All the handles are right below me, and links are in the description. Over here are my wonderful patrons. If you want to be featured on the next video, plus get a few other perks, become a patron today. As always, if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe, and look out for more great movie flame videos on the way.